The hot stove of baseball season is starting to get hot. You like that? But the most tantalizing headline has nothing to do with a player who's a free agent this year, right? I know the Giants, San Francisco Giants, just signed the Pirates closer, and the Mets signed Cespedes, and there's some rumblings going on of
Did
some
you say
interesting.
the Pirates?
Yeah, the Pirates. They just, I don't know. One of our production crew members decided to come in and deck out the set in Pittsburgh gear.
Oh, and it took us for like 5 minutes. We're like, why
these
is
are new.
this
They're so crisp.
I think she went out and purchased them. I really think she did. We didn't have crisp pennants like this, but fair play.
No, our pennants are from like 1991.
Yeah,
the
so
Braves.
Nothing beats the Pittsburgh
But
memorabilia.
so this has to do with Bryce Harper, because Bryce Harper, and get ready for this world, is going to get Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo transfer fee money.
Somewhere both of them woke up like the way they kind of sniffed it out and they're like, something bad's happening right now. Someone just referenced me in a baseball clip.
Ronaldo's like, I'm going to go play for the Washington Nationals.
I don't know how his arm is, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, at least he could, there's not really much kick. He can kick the ball to first.
That would be so... I've kicked a baseball before. It is not pretty.
That would not... Well, barefooted would... I mean, with a cleat on, you'd be fine. But to the point here, here's the headline, right? And this is not a wrong or clickbaity or drastic headline, because this is what he's going to get. Maybe more. This is element number 5. It's Bryce Harper's headline is what I think I titled it. Nationals won't meet Bryce Harper's $400 million demand, making free agency likely. Now, free agency is likely regardless, because why wouldn't Bryce Harper test the market next year? He can always sign with the Nationals. Why would he sign an extension? For one, the Yankees and the Dodgers always have the money. So whatever the Nationals could offer, the Yankees and the Dodgers can say, fuck it. It's no salary cap in baseball, man. We'll give you $500 million. And why not?
And he's a boyhood Yankees fan.
Yeah, that's those rumors always true. And with the short porch in Yankee Stadium, all those home runs go up.
Well, even as not a avid baseball enthusiast, I've always listened and heard from a lot of my friends that are Yankees fans that they're somewhat trying to get back to the glory days. They want to be back to this team.
But they're close.
They're
That's
close
what's
to it.
so
They're working
scary.
towards it. So if you add someone who, even if I lived under a rock that and had my ears plugged with anything to prevent baseball from getting in here, I would still know of Bryce Harper. This is a guy that, for one, I'm a big fan of because he wants to change a lot of the fundamentals that I think anchor baseball
down
without growing as much, even though that the World Series this year even attracted the viewership of the likes of me, who was just amazed by what was going on.
Baseball?
The World Series.
We're still talking about baseball.
Yeah. But what is it? Well, first of all, is your rivalry with the Yankees like in a way that you don't care that much for them, or if they added Bryce Harper?
Of course it would bother me. Yeah. I'd be lying to the world if I was just like, good for Bryce. I hope he has a wonderful career, wins a couple rings. I hope everything goes wonderful. I've always really liked Bryce Harper as a player. I do like his attitude towards the game, even though some people find it to be obnoxious or a little immature. The make baseball fun again is awesome, and he just always calls out the unwritten rules, which I think is great. But the rivalry between Mets and Yankees, right? It's just because we share the city, right? For one, the Yankees have always been so much better. I can't say it's a rivalry because the games aren't that close. Like the Subway Series and the 2000 World Series, the Mets played the Yankees, and we got crushed 4-1 in that series. But the Phillies are a whole nother breed.
Yeah, there's that Philadelphia-New York rivalry.
I think there's actually a tougher Philly-New York rivalry than there is a Philly, New York rivalry, because like the Knicks and the Nets, there's no rivalry there, and the Mets and the Yankees, the Giants and the Jets, I don't think have really a big rivalry. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've always been anti-Cowboys, Eagles more so than I was growing up, than I was anti-Jets.
I think that happens a lot in American sports. It's not the inner city rivalry, because a lot of the time it's rare. It's the inner division, or it's like because the Lakers and the Celtics. It took me a while to kind of contemplate it. Like, why do they hate each other so much when they're from it? But it's just like big championship, big cities.
Well, that's actually it's an interesting point you're making, because in I'm going to use the Premier League for example, like the Manchester Derby is like, of course it's
Liverpool,
it used to be more Liverpool, Everton, but there's no divisions that separate Liverpool and Everton. If Liverpool only played Everton once a year because they played and that was a friendly because Liverpool for whatever reason played in La Liga or a different division, it wouldn't.
Wouldn't have as much.
It wouldn't have as much, and that makes sense. If you were to get rid of divisions, yes, I think there'd be a more heated rivalry between inner city teams, which, not inner city in that meaning, I mean teams that share a city. Back to Bryce. So $400 million. So the Yankees could offer more, $500 million, right? Why not $500 million? But it leads me to the point, baseball contracts are just stupid.
That's insane.
I mean, it's all a product, and I always will say this, like, I'd rather see the players get the money than George Steinbrenner, but, you know, I found a great article via Forbes, and people will ask us all the time, like, why do baseball players get so much money? Well, as baseball might not be the most watched sport in the country, it's still making more money every single year because baseball contracts are stupid. Because TV deals are stupid.
Very much so.
And that's who you can blame. If you're mad that Bryce Harper might get $500 million to sign with the Dodgers or the Yankees, or maybe the Mets, and he's only going to hit 30 home runs, which means he's going to get paid $45 million a year to not hit as many home runs per millions as he's getting paid, right? It's because of the TV deals. Because the Yankees TV deal, for example, is worth $7.7 billion. And I wish I could show a graphic of what $7.7 billion looks like, because we throw around these numbers in sports like we throw around singles towards our coffees in the morning. There you go, 1, 2, 3 for my coffee. It's like, 1.123 billion.
That's a hell of a cup of coffee.
I want $1 billion bill. Just one. Don't lose it. Don't spend it all in one place.
I think to go back to the reference, like that is on par with what you would have to pay in order to lure Lionel Messi from Barcelona to like a
$7.7 billion?
No, the money that you mentioned, probably someone would.
But it would be $500 million American dollars to get him.
What happens in a situation like that is it's regulation in La Liga that players have to have a minimum fee release clause. That doesn't mean there's a regulation on how much that minimum fee release clause is, because Lionel Messi's currently is like 280 million euros. You'd have to spend, that goes to Barcelona, that doesn't go to Messi. You'd have to spend that just to get him out of his contract.
You'd
have to give him a contract on top of that.
That's what I find so remarkable, too. I actually love the idea, though, of transfer release, because I think I really wish they tried it for just one American sport, for 1 year, just to cause mayhem.
Yeah.
Just to cause complete and total mayhem.
People get angry because they think it gives too much power to the player, that the player gets to choose. Like,
the players are why we watch.
Exactly, and the reason is a player, more often than not, will perform better and give you all of the essentials that you like and love about the sport if he's in a happy environment where he can go on to thrive. Like, no one wants to see a player who doesn't want to be there play. We've seen it in several situations. It doesn't end well for either player or franchise because they both get tired and then eventually they move on either way. So I've always, and we had the argument with Ben when we did our debates clip where he was like, who should have more power, the players or the ownership? And I think the owners are always out for the owners. The players more in sight or more in tune with what we like from fans. They're there to play the sport. Yeah, they're there to make their money, but they're there because there's something about them that's so talented that got them there in the first place. So when you give them the power to go where they think they can go, there's going to be some that's going to take advantage of it, that just go and make their money, fine. But more often than not, if the ownership would have more control, then we wouldn't have seen like a Ronaldo move from an already great career at Manchester United to a phenomenal career at Real Madrid, going to a team that he loved since he was watching football. He got to go and play for them. And I think that it gives you more situations where, yeah, people are going to form super teams because they'll have more money. But I think that players more often than not will want to play for a team if they're given the ability to do so and not held and constricted.
I agree with you. I agree with you on all those points. Until we own a team, I'll always be pro player. And the second I own a team,
I know, fuck, I'm keeping them.
Sell my soul in a second. Be like, no, you don't get 50%.
You're not going anywhere else. Just staying here.
I just don't understand what's wrong with 50-50. I've never understood. Like,
what's
80-20. We have a stadium of people to feed for $14 a hot dog. By the way, a really boring but interesting point on one of the things that Bud Selig, who was commissioner of baseball from like the Prohibition era till 2007, before Rob Manfred took over, one of the things that he did that was actually very smart was he modified the MLB's revenue sharing program, as Forbes put it, and the goal was to give the small market teams an additional boost. So every club in the majors pays 31% of their net local revenue, so that $7.7 billion overall TV deal, net local revenue into a pool which is divided up and shared equally amongst the 30 franchises. So it gives teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks, your like third favorite baseball team of all time.
I love the Diamondbacks.
Love the Diamondbacks. The ability to sign Zach Greinke last year to a 6-year Where is it? $206 million contract. To pitch, to throw a baseball to home plate.
I'm out.
You chose the wrong sport growing up.
I'm out. These clips do nothing but just make me mad.
Just make you mad.
Like
Bryce Harper's going to sign.
My coffee bought for me once in a while.
Bryce Harper's going to sign a $500 million contract. $500 million. Just mark my words. And if he doesn't, he signs with the Nationals. It will be $400 million.